Hello, my name is Bradley Butler. Thank you for joining us. I am the Executive Director and Curator at Main Street Arts in Clifton Springs, New York. And tonight's event is a virtual studio tour with Mark Errol from Tifton, Georgia, and Yoshi Fuji from Baltimore, Maryland. This event is part of a series of online events in conjunction with our exhibition, The Cup, the Mug. And both Mark and Yoshi are included in this year's exhibition, which is an online invitational. This year's show includes 98 cups by 20 artists from 12 states. So I'd like to thank both of you for joining us. And I'm going to just share some images of each of your work while I tell everyone a little bit about you. And I'll start with Mark. So Mark Errol graduated from Georgia State University in 2014 with his MFA, where he was the recipient of the Ernest G. Welch Fellowship. Mark accepted the position of lecturer in 2015 at Valdosta State University. Valdosta, thank you. Valdosta, Georgia, where he teaches ceramics, foundation 3D design, as well as professional preparations for budding artists and senior presentation. He is currently serving as interim gallery director for Dado Marionville Gallery at VSU. Mark lives in Tifton, Georgia, where he maintains his studio and is co-owner of Plough Gallery with Glenn Josey. And I forgot to go through these images, so I'll go through a few of these. And these are the cups that are in the show currently. And Yoshi Fuji, who you may have heard from in this week's Artist Talk. We're going to see his studio just in a bit here. But Yoshi Fuji from Fukuoka, Japan, is a ceramic artist and instructor based in Baltimore, Maryland. After earning his MFA from Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, Yoshi was selected as the 2008-2009 Lormina Salter Fellow at Baltimore Clayworks, where he also served as an instructor and gallery manager. His delicately carved functional artworks have been published and shown in national and international exhibitions and competitions, won several awards, and added to collections. So again, thank you both for joining us. And before we get really into the heart of the tours, I'd like to have you both just kind of say a little bit more about yourselves, about your work. And Mark, I think we'll start with you.
Sure. Hi, everyone. As a ceramic artist, I am focused on the fact that I always wanted to be an architect and an interior designer. My whole life, I was drawn to the idea of space, the idea of sharing space, cohabitation, architecture. And my work reflects kind of a transition through all that kind of desire. When I was younger and realized I wasn't going to be an architect and I found ceramics, the idea of making things that went in the home became really kind of interesting to me, more directly involved in it. And I got excited by the fact that I could use the surface as a way to discuss my dreams, my hopes, the current state of the market of housing, all those different things as it relates to the pots and things. So that's what I currently do with my work. And then, as we mentioned, I'm a full-time teacher. I teach ceramics, and I co-own a gallery here in Tifton and run a gallery at school with my coworker, Taylor Shaw. And it's been really wonderful to kind of move to an area where the arts weren't really as prevalent and try to introduce them and bring them into the forefront. That's what we do here. Education's a big part of what my life is. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mark, and looking forward to seeing the studio and also a bit of Plough Gallery.
Yeah.
And Yoshi, would you like to tell us a few things about yourself?
Yep. So if you attended this Tuesday's same deal, you might have heard some about myself already, but I was just going to repeat. But after finishing high school in Japan, I moved to Mississippi to go to undergraduate degree at University of Southern Mississippi, and move up to Illinois for my master's, Southern Illinois University at Carbondale. And I moved to Baltimore in 2008 to be a resident at the Baltimore Clayworks, where I still have my studio as a visiting artist. In 2016 to 2019, I was in Dubai, actually UAE, teaching privately. And that has changed my work a little bit. So I'm looking forward to talking more as I show my studio space.
Great. And you're currently talking to us from Baltimore Clayworks right now?
Yes. Then Baltimore Clayworks is still mandating the mask just to be safe. So yeah, I hope you can hear my voice through my mask, but I look like
you look
that.
Great.
Thank you. Yep.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much. And I think we'll go ahead and get right into it. And I think Mark, we'll start with you. And I think since both of you be kind of walking around and showing us things. But Mark, you're currently at the studio.
I am.
Space, so you're gonna start there, and we'll see where we go.
Sure. So I'm just going to start with where I sit most of the time. This is where I do most of my work, is in this spot. I'm at a desk in a little back room of the gallery. When I first moved to Tifton in 2014 after grad school, I rented a storefront on the other side of town. The entire space was about 350 square feet, which was my studio. I hadn't had a big studio like that in a long time. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot of space, but when you're coming out of grad school and something like that, sometimes that's not a lot of space. So I was really excited, but right away that turned into a space to show work. And so a showroom, and my studio kept shrinking as we kept adding more work to the gallery and more people. And by 2017, my studio had become basically a table and a wheel next to each other. Moving to a 3,000 square foot space, which we did for Plough Gallery in 2017, I was really excited to have a lot of space. And then you realize that that's not going to happen again because we just expanded the gallery. So this is pretty much a 360 view you're going to get here. I do use a lot of underglaze. I work in this area mostly. This is a kind of a small space, so don't laugh at me. But my wheel is here. And then the table I'm sitting at is right there. So we've just seen my entire studio. But I'm lucky in that I have a studio at all and I don't complain. I don't have a kiln here, actually, at this building. The building was built in the 1930s, and the owner asked that I not bring anything like a kiln here. We have one at my house, which is about 5 blocks away, and I transport there in school. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see where I'm walking. So this is kind of another little kitchen area that we have at the gallery, but it's also where I teach private lessons. So for the last few years during the summer, I teach private lessons here. And currently I use this space to house a student of mine, a former student from Valdosta State University. She comes up on Wednesdays. Her name's Taylor Nally, and she's been making work here as a kind of like a resident for the last year. So I give her free studio and space and help buy clay for her in exchange for her giving us some time when we need help in the gallery and stuff like that. So it's a great situation. And when I get to teach, I really enjoy it. So. All right, so then we move through this old house into the gallery. So you're now seeing the gallery from my point of view when I come in every day. That's the front door of the gallery and our desk counter here. And I'm just going to give you a quick little tour, if that's okay. Am I moving too much?
No, you're doing great. Yes, it's fine.
So this is our main showroom where we house kind of like the year-round kind of constant artists. It's kind of getting revamped this week as we have our big holiday event coming up next weekend. And I'm going to show you, we've been setting up Christmas trees, and I bet any of you who have dealt with lights know what that means right there. A light bulb missing that I got to figure out. But we're getting ready for the ornament show next weekend. So this is a cool building in that it, like I said, it was built in the 1930s. all original floors. It's about 3,000 square feet. And the only thing we did was paint the walls white and put in track lighting. Our landlord lives across the street, directly across from us, and he's lived here his whole life in Tifton. And he said he wanted to wake up every day and know there was a gallery in this town because there had never really been one. And he's really supportive and wonderful. And this, you know, we're going on, what is it, 6 years we'll be here this year coming up, and never raised the rent, never asked us not to do anything, just totally supports the arts. And that's really wonderful in a small town. We're about 15,000 people down here in South Georgia in an agrarian society. So that's coming in the front door view. And then there's 4 rooms, and they're basically just split off this hallway. And we call this the fancy room because it has a fireplace. Ooh, ah. So originally we used to house different exhibitions in each room, but it's just over the years that we've grown, we now represent over 90 artists from around the country that have like this kind of open invitation to bring work whenever they want or show with us. We kind of keep it stocked with work. So you're seeing some of the ways we do things here. Some big, nice Mark Knott jars from a show he had here a few years ago that are still here. Because he's in Mexico now. I don't know if everybody has seen that, but he's living in Mexico most of the time now. So yeah, it's really exciting to have this space. But as you see, it's this giant building, and then I have that little room in the back. Glenn, who co-owns and is my husband, this is just a little glimpse of his kind of studio. He's the photographer, and if you know anything about Plough Gallery, it's because of him. He's done all the work to build this site into the website, the visuals, everything that is Plough Gallery.
Oh no.
Well, we lost you a little bit there, Mark, and oh, there you're back.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I was just saying that if you know anything about technology, you're doing better than I do because I'm horrible at it. So everything that is Plough Gallery is really done by Glenn, and he likes to be in the background. I get to be the guy that calls people, faces everybody, and does all that stuff. So that was a quick little tour of my studio. I'm currently not making a lot of work. It's been a rough year for that. There's some mugs that have been sitting here since August that I owe to certain situations that haven't been completed. But I've been doing other things. I paint, I draw. I've been getting really into printmaking. I'm currently working on a quilt of lottery tickets in the shape of homes. I've got about a couple thousand of those that I've been sewing together. And yeah, that's my studio kind of environment right now. It's a lot of managerial teaching. And when I do get to make, I just try to enjoy it right now instead of kind of feeling, focused on shows and things like that. So I was really excited to get invited to this show because it allowed me to make work that was fun and enjoyable again.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And really appreciate seeing the gallery too. And going through the gallery website, it's amazing how many artists that we know through, either Main Street Arts or, well, obviously all through Main Street Arts, but either through the shop that we have or through, various years of the Cup Show. And I think that really illustrates how small the ceramics community really is and how kind of tight knit it is. So really, really cool to see that. And I wish that Georgia was a little closer to New York. But that if we ever make the trip down, then that's definitely going to be a highlight for us to visit for sure.
Love to have you.
Yeah. And also it's really interesting, hearing about your other artistic endeavors too, because when we did the first tour with Sam Chumley, who I know that he talked about being a printmaker. Also, he really likes baking, I guess. And so he's got multiple things going on creatively too. So it's really cool to hear that, even though we know you as a ceramic artist, that there's other stuff going on too. It's really cool. Besides the gallery and besides teaching and besides doing the gallery at the school. So
Did I also mention that I save whales on the weekends? No, I'm just kidding.
wouldn't be a shock. Yeah.
We have to
So,
keep ourselves like are creatively energized. I think as makers in clay, we sometimes get very comfortable and we're eager to please and we're eager to kind of keep our work out there. But to do that sometimes gets hard. And I think we can all relate to that to stimulate the creative process, we do jump into other things and baking, and as Sam does. And I've been a recipient of many loaves of bread from that gentleman, and I'm not, please keep baking, Sam. But the whole idea that we have to stimulate our creativity through other forms is healthy. And as a teacher, I think it's really important to teach my students that too.
yeah, no, that's great. And do you, I mean, is Plough Gallery specifically ceramic gallery, or do you largely show ceramics but show other things as well?
Yeah, I think because I as a potter, I started out by inviting friends that were potters and clay artists in general. We focus on it, but we do represent glass artists, wood, jewelry, 2D painting, photography. I mean, there's pretty much, we've done video installations here, we've done performances. The gallery being where it is, it's really key for us to push the boundaries of what the region gets to see. There's a wonderful arts organization here in town that did it was called the Love Affair for many years. But after these things die out after time if people don't reinvigorate them. So when we got here and in 2015 and really wanted to help invigorate, we've done public art projects. We have a giant sculpture outside that we put in the yard of the gallery that's 15 feet tall and 4,000 pounds that Glenn photographs every single day and posts. We've done murals, we've helped other public arts projects, and I think that it's key to this area to be that voice, to be that kind of catalyst for other people. I mean, growing up as a artist in upstate New York, there wasn't a lot of options for me to go see art. I was born in New York City, but I lived in upstate in a tiny town of 2,000 people. And being the weirdo art kid, I was always looking for things that stimulated that. And I know that whenever somebody showed me something or introduced me to somebody that was interested in the arts, it was like this, finally. And we want to be that for those people around here too.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I mean, that's very similar, being in upstate New York, and the gallery is located in a village of, I think it's like 1,951 people or something like that. So it's, it's a small place, and we focus on kind of the whole region at large, and it really, brings people to the village, but also the people of the village, someone similar to yourself would find, something really exciting about, we hope at least, coming into the village. Yeah, awesome. Well, great. And I think it's really cool to have you both on the same tour, because going from one extreme to another, kind of, right? So we've got you in your little space here that's in your own place where you had the gallery, and then Yoshi, you're at in a kind of shared space. So do you want to take us a little bit around Baltimore Clayworks?
Sure, definitely. And I think I might win the small space competition against Mark, because my studio is quite small in this big institution. So whenever I have opportunity to talk like this, I have to talk about Baltimore Clayworks a little bit. So we are a nonprofit art center. We've been here for 43 years now, I think, 43, 44. And we have studio space upstairs in this, hold on, let me just turn it around. This is our second floor studio space. And currently we have 5 resident artists and 3 classrooms downstairs. And across the street, we have 2 buildings. Across the street is administration and the exhibitions program. Galleries are across the street. And this is my humble studio space, about 6 by 6.
Wow.
So yeah, I got demoted from 10 by 10 space to 6 by 6 space when I left to Dubai. So a little bit of inspiration wall and shelf on the front and the side, and that's it. And I don't even have a table. So this is my wheel, and this is my workspace. put that little board on top, and this is where I carve.
I love it.
So if you have ever really checked out my work, I think these something that you might have seen. I used to work with porcelain and celadon content, yes. But when I moved to Dubai, I did not have access to gas kiln. So whatever I purchased for my client or my students are what was available. So I bought earthenware, all four glazes, and electric kiln, wheel, everything else, all shipped from US all the way to UAE. And because of that, I could not work with porcelain, and I have to work with earthenware. Then I found if you fire earthenware to a little bit hot to cone 4, it gets really toasty and beautiful brownish reddish color. That's the similar, can you hear it? Have the same ring as porcelain. I really like this look. Then when I moved back to US, I started playing with the dark clay, and this is cone 5, cone 6 clay. So the carbon is the same, but different clay body created the different look. And I've been enjoying this, dirty, dirty clay, red clay, so much right now. So again, getting ready for the holiday sale. So my shelf is currently empty, and I'm using commercial glazes now. And again, this is my little space. Yeah, I think this is about 5x5 or 6x6, so it's not big at all. Then a kiln is shared downstairs in the basement. We have 3 gas kilns, maybe about 10 electric kilns. We have wood kiln outside, soda kiln. So we have a lot of kilns and different opportunity at this studio. But again, my studio is a little tiny space.
And Yoshi, are you involved with, the firing of other work at the center or with the gallery, or like what else is your involvement in that space?
Sure. So I should say I was a paying customer. I should say I just rent my space, but since the summer, I start helping across the street, helping with the shop and the gallery. So I do a little bit of work, not a little work, a lot more work across the street now. And I teach full load of the classes. I teach 8 classes at 6 places right now. And on top of that, I'm doing a gallery across the street for like 25 hours a week. So I don't know what's going on right now. I had a class from 9 to 1 this morning. I was working at the gallery, taking a photo, right? Just like Mark was saying, getting ready for the holiday sale and put everything online. Halfway through, so I have to go back to the gallery and finish up. I hope I'll be done by midnight, but this is a holiday time. It's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay. But anyway,
it's really interesting. So for anyone listening, you may be aware that we were supposed to have one of these events last night. We had some technical difficulties, and Yoshi was going to be on that event. But it's really interesting that the two of you are together. I mean, very similar things going on in life, right? Yeah. I mean, you've got multiple things going on, not only making the work. There's a lot of teaching and other stuff going on. Really interesting to see the overlaps.
I think it's the current situation of artist making. We can't rely on singular forms of income. And I think we're so passionate as makers in general that we tend to share it, whatever way that happens, whether it's gallery or education or community involvement. So I think that, what really is the basis of clay is community. And we really kind of, as you were saying earlier, it's a small knit community. We support each other. We find ways to bring more people into it. It's wonderful. It's why I do what I do. I mean, I love painting and I love all that stuff, but the isolation of that, I don't think is really my game.
I think the reason why I chose to stay at the Baltimore Clayworks renting a space here is that I can just see the resident artists working, or students are working downstairs also. And like Mark was saying, I wish I could be the production potter, but the way that I make each piece takes long time. And just the personality wise, I cannot really rely on the income from the piece that I haven't sold. And I really enjoy teaching also. So luckily, different places ask me to teach, come back each session. So it's a blessing that I have a place to connect to on top of just being here at the Baltimore Clayworks.
We're pretty lucky.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and that's really, I mean, I think into like the creative, the field into the arts, because like a lot of people will, come to the Main Street Arts and, people going to college or whatever, and or parents asking like, oh, what should, my child know? And it's like, well, I think, don't really have a set plan for yourself other than like you want to be involved in the arts, because you never know where that path will take you. And I think being artists, we're all very resourceful, and you kind of like you add things as you go, and then 10 years go by and you're like, oh wow, well, I'm in a different place than I was, but it's really interesting to see how it went. So
I graduated and moved to Manhattan a month before 9/11, and I was working in fashion for 2 years before I ever touched clay again. Never thought I was going to go back to grad school. Never thought I was going to move to South Georgia. Never thought I was going to be an educator at the college level. Never, like everything that is my life now, I don't think I could have ever imagined. But as I tell my students, I come from a place of yes. When something presents itself, I say yes, because I have no idea where it's going to lead me. And every plan I've ever had, was kind of safe. And everything that's happened in my life, I'm so thankful for and so lucky, so I come from a place of yes.
Yeah,
that's great. That's really great.
18 years old little Yoshi with a little suitcase never ever thought about staying in this country for this long and touching clay even. So a lot of things happen unexpectedly.
Crazy.
We had a couple of comments here that I just want to share on Facebook. So Elise Ziegler said, Plough Gallery continues to be the pulse of bringing representation to South Georgia. So
I love you.
Feather in your cap, Mark. And then also Kathleen Pyle Woodcock says, thanks for sharing your studio spaces. So yeah. Well, great. This has been really interesting and exciting. And like I said, it's really cool to see the two of you on the same talk. And I guess you talked about holiday stuff coming up. Anything you'd like to plug specifically, either one of you?
Go ahead, Yoshi.
So Baltimore Clayworks Winterfest and Holiday Sale starting from next weekend. And right now I'm taking a photo of all the artwork available. So if you could check our website, or if you could come to Baltimore Clayworks and check out the gallery space, that would be great.
That's awesome.
Mark?
Yeah, it's next weekend, November 19th is our 9th annual holiday event here at Plough Gallery. This year we did our first ornament call for artists. So we have a bunch of ornaments going to be out from juried by Lindsay Rogers. We introduced a lot of new artists at that event for the gallery in general. We were just photographing the work of Dallas Wooten today.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're really excited. I think I spent money already, and I didn't.
Isn't that the bad thing though? Like I'm just photographing, like I want this one, I want that one. I get to have a first pick, but
people ask me all the time, do you get a discount? I'm like, no, I own the gallery. I still have to pay.
Oh, that's great. I mean, it's nice to know that this is just the way across the board. We actually just bought a cup by Dallas Wooten at the Flower City Pottery Invitational in Rochester. So really, so
he's
shout out
been
to Dallas
talked
Wooten.
about. Yes, yeah, I know. So Mark, I want your work in the gallery next year. Okay.
Let's work on that. Let's switch it up.
We'll do the exchange.
Let's
right.
with you. I love it. Yeah, that would be
we
great.
made a business agreement. Yeah, that's great. We'll stay connected. That's great.
Yeah, so that's what's going on here. We'll have makers on the porch. We have glass, wood, printmaking. We have a raku firing happening in the driveway. We have just a normal day in South Georgia. So come on over. We welcome everybody.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you both again. And just as a reminder to everyone out there, you can see the Cup the Mug 2022 on our website, mainstreetartscs.org. And you can see that show two ways. You can either go to the exhibition page and learn more about each of the artists, which is definitely the way I would recommend to do it, because you get to see all their great smiling faces and see their work, read about who they are and motivations for making the work. And then you can click on each of the cups that are available. Each of these artists have a couple of cups available still. So definitely, if you're interested, head over there and check those out. You can also just go to the shop page and go to the Cup the Mug and just see all the cups and not see any of the faces. That's okay too. So thank you both, and I'll bring you back on here so we can all be on the same view. So thank you both for joining us tonight, and good luck with the upcoming stuff for the holidays and anything else that comes after that. So
thank you so much, Brad.
Brad, this has been wonderful. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
This is kind of fun. Like, I knew Mark or some other artists, but it's nice to be able to mingle like this. I really appreciate it. Great idea. I really appreciate it.
Well,
Thank you so much.
That's something that we last year was our first year of doing this exhibition strictly online, and we wanted to make it even more of something to experience, not just the selling of the cups, but also like get to know some more of the artists, because that's one of the things I love the most. And I think you probably can both attest to this, is when people actually show the work in the gallery, you get to know them, get to know their work, and it's just a nice relationship. So it's nice to have a little bit of that, through this show. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a great night. And thanks everyone for tuning in.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.